Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News, and this is Justice for All. And I got to make sure I get that banner put up. So, how's everybody's weekend? Oh boy, did we uh, you have to take a look at Southern California. Oh my goodness, um, water, lots of rain, 2 to 3 inches, earthquake, hurricane that turned into a tropical storm. Yeah. Karen, what do you think? At least it didn't hit the East Coast, right? Well, they got more coming up. But this is Justice for All, and I want to start off with the dog park. Wow. Now, this really surprised me because um, I was reading through it, and it just amazes me. Now, this is in Montreal, Canada, of all places. But the thing is the other day I was searching through videos and I seen this funniest video about a dog park, and this lady didn't want other dogs in the dog park if she had her dogs there because one of the dogs might bite her dog. Are we having brawls at the dog parks? So, um, so in Montreal, and the sign was in French of all things. They put up a no barking sign. First, it. I, um, I don't know if everybody up there is French. I don't know, but they said violators could be fined in between $500 and $2,000. So that's barking, whining, howling. Uh, it's forbidden to let your dog whine, bark, howl. It's like, how do you stop that at a dog park? I mean, all the dogs are barking, happy to see each other, and wrestling and playing and running, jumping, yiping. Um, me, I'm not too keen on the dog parks because what if there's a dog that don't really get along? That was my concern when I first started seeing these dog parks, and they're like, oh no, only happy dogs. And then I started hearing about fights, and then I seen that video with that lady that didn't want no one else in the dog park with her dogs for the same reason. What's is this dog wars now? Boy, boy, you know what? Well, what do you think about this? $500 fine if your dog barks at the dog park. And I think the United States is going to be next. You know, and so the thing with this is what if you have a dog that really doesn't get along well with other dogs? Hopefully, the owner would know, because if a little puppy comes charging up on it, it's going to get bit. Well, the dog charged on their dog, and their dog bit in self-defense, and what a mess, huh? And get this, it's happening. And all over the place. What about a dog gets rabies, and it's because it's been out in the backyard and it wrestled with a possum or a raccoon, and they got bit, and they're blaming it on the dog park. They're going to sue the city. Pretty soon they're going to start charging to get in. Karen, what do you think? You don't even have a dog. I mean, is this whole dog park worth it? I just can't see. No barking, no howling, no whining, no yiping, no. Uh, well, there you go. Linda G's got a dog. Linda G, we're talking dog parks. Um, and so if you take your dog to the dog park, you're hoping all of them are friendly. So you turn your dog loose, and all of a sudden there's your dog and another dog that don't get along. So who leaves? The dog that bites first? Yeah. I mean, most of them do get along. Don't get me wrong. I say it ought to be a puppy park. Puppies from 8 weeks to like 12 weeks old. Because, they all just do whatever. They just roll around, bite, chew, lick, but they bark. See, Linda G just got here. Linda up in Montreal. So those just joining us. They have got their dog park. They've got a no barking, howling, whining, whatever. $500 to a $2,000 fine. It was, and another thing, is there the dog police out there? An officer that stands out there with the ticket book waiting for a dog to bark and then have to find the owner? The dog police. Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, we don't know, and I tried to get some info on it, and nobody knows. Everybody said, well, their dog parks in the city aren't monitored. It's up to the individuals to keep the peace. I said, but what if they don't? Well, then it's a civil thing. And I said, so do we call the cops? What? Well, they did over a dog fight isn't a big thing to call the cops over. So is this getting more and more stupid up in Montreal? Well, there is a now there it did 2 days ago. Now this happened, I think, back in March that they put these signs up, and the media didn't pay no attention to it until they really started protesting this, and it got stronger and stronger throughout the summer. Now 2 days ago, they went out and pulled all the signs down. So the dogs are free to bark and howl and whine and have a good time. And, but that's still, Linda, would you take your dog to the dog park? No, I don't think I would take mine. Mine gets too excited, and I think she would just be crazy and offend another dog. I don't know. It's really, should we only let so many in at a time? Should it be one person with their dogs at a time, like that one lady on the video wanted? My dogs are in here. You're not allowed in until I'm done. Now, it was a small fenced-in area, so I could see that. But wow. And then, you go on watching the video, and there was other dogs. So why couldn't this guy and his dogs come in? Well, she said there was already too many dogs, and her dogs were getting too excited. Rules at the dog park. Yeah. I say get a big backyard, or you know what? Go out in the woods and take your dog on a nature hike. There you go. If you pass another dog, it's, they sniff each other and you go on. I don't know about these dog parks. I don't know enough about them, and I've never used them, and I don't think I ever will. Oh boy, thank you. Howling, Alfie, would cost you a fortune, huh? Yeah, mine would too. Mine bark and bark and bark and bark, just to bark, just to sass, and bark and bark. Oh boy, me and Linda, we'd be in the Montreal jail for a year, and thousands of dollars. Oh boy. All right. I want to get so anyway, they pulled the signs down, and you know, I was just wondering, do they have dog police? I don't think so. I think it's, you know what, you just take care of little buddy, or the sissy dog, or the chihuahua, and don't let them chew up on others at the park. Oh boy. So now the next one, folks, um, um, the conman. Oh my goodness. Now, you guys know those machines you take all your change to and you pour it in. I know you've seen them at the supermarket. Not everybody uses them, but they're purchased kind of like a bubblegum machine, where the manager kind of has control over what's there. But then you have someone come in and collect the change out of it. Or if it's the owner of the machine, of the store, they can collect the money. Well, these coin machines now, they're bought, but they're maintained. Um, and they have a service fee on them. So, um, oh boy, where did this happen? Let me see. Got to make sure. Um, now, this went from Vancouver to Oregon. He ended up being caught in Oregon doing this. So this was a guy that he had was able to copy the coin um, mechanics uniform. And so what he did was he was going store to store to store, and he was saying he was there to maintain the machine. Well, he'd empty it out and he'd keep it. Well, see, oh, I forgot, I don't have the key. I'm only the maintenance man. Of course, the managers will open up those machines for him. So this guy ended up with $700,000 by the time he hit from he went from New York to Vancouver. He went all the way over to Oregon, where he finally got caught with millions of coins. And they said he had close to 732,000. In the basically the sting operation they did on him in Oregon, they found out there was 4 of them that was in on this con, and they were all doing all the states from Oregon and the northern states into Canada back down again, and they were zigzagging, and they've made millions of dollars off those coin machines. So yeah, but at least we don't have to worry. We didn't lose our money, just that surcharge they do on the coin machines. You know what happened to the good old days where we could turn our bottles in? Can you still do that? I mean, I know recyclable with plastics, um, and some of the beer cans, but I know California had it for a while, but it was like they were almost a penny a can, and it wasn't worth crushing them, except for to send the kids out for punishment. Um, they charge you more than it would cost you the time to wrap them. Well, who knows, Karen? It depends if you want to sit and wrap. If you want to wrap your money up and put your name and address and everything on it and turn it to the bank, or if you want to just go pour it all into one of the machines. Doesn't it take like 10%? I think my daughter used one once or twice. Um, I know. I think I did it once, but I can't remember what it charges. It was such a long time ago. Um, now, William said about the dog park. We have 2 dog parks, um, 20 pounds and above. They don't allow anybody 20 pounds and above. Well, what about the Chihuahuas? Chihuahuas they're vicious. My mailman, I asked him, what's the worst dog you can run into? And he said, Chihuahua. Every one of my mailmans. Yeah. They don't want to run into a Chihuahua. They said they'll break the skin and everything. They'll rip your ankles up. I said, yeah, but what about a German Shepherd or something? He said most of the time, uh, they could throw a milk bone or something to them and they'll slow down. But a Chihuahua just vicious. Yeah, they must have went to bully school or something. Chihuahua bully school. Yeah, they're not like yeah, they're not nice. Oh, so the coin con man, they did get caught. It's the same as that big racket of, and buyer beware on this one, of a racket of, I think there was 200 of them that were shoplifting or doing the great big swoop in and take a bunch of merchandise, 10, 15 people, and then they would sell it. Um, they're not getting away with it anymore. They got caught, and that was in New York. Now, even today, I think Nordstrom, they got hit with about 50 people that swarmed in and started emptying the racks and running out. Oh, goodness. Now, let's see, what do I have next? I might go to the sunflowers because this is kind of um, silly. It's a new fad, they say. Sunflower field owners are beg visitors to stop doing nude photos after three naughty shoots held in one day. This is happening not only just in the UK, but it's happening over here. And they're finding sunflower farms. They're running naked through them, and a lot of them are on drugs. They're ripping up the sunflower fields, and they're putting. This is college students, folks. Yeah, they're all drugged up, and they're running through sunflower fields, and they're ripping them up, tearing up the sunflower fields. And they say it's a rush because they say you get high as you run through the fields. So you take drugs, then you run naked through the sunflower fields. This is weird but true, folks. Uh, won't catch this girl running through no sunflower. I wouldn't have even done it back in my 20s. What's the deal? They say that it's a high that has never been experienced. And they said it's even better than Tide Pods. So now sunflower farmers are having to put up signs that say, no nudity in my fields. No running nude through the fields. No nude pictures. No nude nothing. No, leave my farm alone. And don't don't rape my sunflowers. Oh boy. Oh boy. The fads that these Karen, what do you think of that? Would you? I mean, we're old. We're getting up there. Well, you're not as old as me, Karen. In your 20s, would you do drugs and then run naked through the sunflower fields if he gave you a better high? Ripping up the sunflowers and yeah, sniffing them, I guess. UK's got it worse than we do, though. UK, they're getting angry. They're putting booby traps. They're putting up booby traps, boy, for naked people. I'm okay. Oh boy, I'm gonna blush and insert foot in my mouth. Boy, that's pretty funny there. Okay, so they're putting up traps to keep them out. Oh boy, I'm tearing up. Oh, Karen, I stuck the foot in my mouth that time. Oh yeah, yeah. So they're trying to keep them out of the fields. Uh, and the kids are saying this is better than Tide Pods or cinnamon. They said this is a rush, and they're encouraging, and they're handing out flyers that say, "Run through the sunflower fields for the ultimate high," and contact somebody. So they get this. They're having naked sunflower party running through the field thing. Gives a whole new meaning to the sunflower. I don't even know if I can eat sunflower seeds anymore. Oh boy. Karen, can you? I mean, we don't know where they've been now. Oh boy. Oh. All right. And so get this. So, there is justice in this because now UK police with their billy clubs and us over here, they're starting to arrest these kids, but they're all naked. Some of them don't even know where their clothes are at. But, they're basically being processed and set free. Uh, and get this, uh, 30% of them are under the age of 18 and need to have their parents called. I don't even want to know what they're doing in the sunflowers. But I don't know if I can eat sunflower seeds anymore, especially after today. Okay. So now I'm going to get on to this. I got to see if it's the last one. Oh boy. So that's something, I tell you. Um, now, now this art, this art museum, um, now, there was a couple that, and this has been in quite a few. This is San Francisco, DC, and New York, especially, where, and we have them here in town, where if you do art or photographs and you want to sell them, you take them to an art dealer and they kind of put it on like a retainer for like 6 months or so. Well, this art dealer, um, um, what would happen is she would come up with um, having these people bring in the art, put it on retainer, and she would sell it and keep the money. And then, of course, they would be calling and asking, and oh, I haven't sold it yet. I haven't sold it yet. Well, she finally, they caught on to her. Now, I think this was, I believe this was in San Francisco and Sacramento. I'm sorry, Sacramento. And so what had happened was one person gave her about 100 photos, and not only were they photos that were beautiful things and close-ups of fruit and different things, plus paintings. And she kept calling and calling and calling, and she had an 8-month contract with her. Well, at the end of 8 months, she called and she says, well, I can't right now because I just got out of the hospital. I had a coma. I was in a coma. And she said, oh, well, sorry to hear that. Well, she called a few weeks later and she said, well, I was in a coma, but then had to recover with, she had liver cancer and she was going to be in the hospital. Well, this lady kept coming up with these crazy ideas and started stringing out all of the people that was trusting her with their art. Well, finally, she just quit answering her phones. And when they went to the studio, it was closed up and gone. And come to find out from her family, she went on vacation. Well, so then they went to the police and come to find out she took all their money and spent it. She never, and they said, what happened to the art? Well, it's all been sold. It was legally sold. She just ripped them all off. And so, the whole thing with, she got into court and she used the coma thing. But when it was the prosecution's turn and they looked and they said, we have no hospital records for you. You've never been in a coma. And she fell to the floor, had seizures in the courtroom. And so, of course, they called an ambulance and they took her away. They had to stop the proceedings and they get her in there. She faked it. Well, now the judge is really angry. You don't fool with the judge. So they get her in there and she starts acting crazy. She's spitting. She starts standing up in her seat. She starts talking in, I don't know, whatever language she can come up with. So they tie her down, they take her out, and they delay the proceedings. And then her lawyers want to go with she's insane, mentally sick. And so they told her, of um, her children were going to have to sell the house, sell everything she had to pay for her legal and everything. She was looking at only 2 years in jail, folks. 2 years in jail. And they went to her house. All the art that she said she sold was in her house. And it was all, stacked up in the house. Well, what did happen? So I'm going to go back to the court proceedings really quick. And so in the court proceedings, the judge, thinking how severely sick this woman is, sentenced her not to 2 years in jail. She would have got if she just would have accepted her what she had done. He gave her 10 years in the mental institute. All the paintings and all the portraits and all that, the people that saw it on the news that she had sold the paintings and portraits to, took it all back so that the the artist could have their stuff back and sell it. Um, so she would have played straight, didn't play like a fool. She might only got 2 years, but instead, acting so crazy, she got 10 years in a mental institute. All right, folks, that's it for today. We got William coming up with his show. I'm probably going to stand back and let William just carry the reins this week. And um, I gave him an idea, and we'll see what happens. But I think he has really a good show, and it might be a short one. Monday's short for news. And I know we've heard it over and over and over again. Just a reminder, LA, the Hurricane Hillary is a tropical storm. I mean, we got stronger winds here when I lost my power than they did when it hit the San Diego. There is flooding rain. Everything is filling up, and then now it wasn't a 5.1. It was Dutch Sense said 5.5. And I can listen to Dutch Sense, but I really think once that ground gets wet around LA, it's gonna rumble. All right, folks, you guys have a wonderful Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow with news and weather and lifestyle news. We're back on track again. And coming up next is Mr. William. So come on back and watch his show. I want to thank you all for watching, and subscribe, hit the like button, the thumbs up, and ring that bell.